Good morning, everyone. Today probably is one of the very important days from the part of the professional people related to archaeology. In fact, the release of a book from a person who has spent more than 5 decades of his lifetime in professional archaeological work is something laudable, and I think we are very happy that today morning we are here for that function of the Lokarpane, the book release from this great person, Shri Subbaraman, who has been awarded the Padma Shri in the year 2023. So, on this wonderful occasion, first of all, I welcome all the people who are here for this book release function. I would like to welcome each one of the dignitaries on the dais with a brief introduction about them. Padma Shri Shri Subbaraman, who is the author of the book which is getting released today, he was a superintending archaeologist, chemist in the Archaeological Survey of India, right from the year 1954 onwards. He started his career, and he completed his MSc in chemistry from University of Madras in the year 1953. He had extensive training in conservation in Rome as well as in London, particularly in London on the conservation of antiques and certain of in the British Museum Research Laboratory. Later, he was a chemist from 1954 to 87 in the branch of Archaeological Survey of India, and particularly from 1966 to 75, he set up the Conservation Laboratory of the Indian Museum in Calcutta. He was the director of Intact Chitrakala Parishad Art Conservation Center, Bangalore from 1993 to 2006. That means to say for nearly about 50 years, he has contributed to the archaeology and to the art in this nation. He has a lot of achievements to him on conservation and preservation achievements in India as well as abroad. In India, particularly on the conservation of mural paintings of the murals of Ajanta, Brihadeshwara Temple, Tanjavur and Virupaksha Temple, Lepakshi. And he has carried and directed conservation of stone monuments all over the country. When we see the abroad, he headed the conservation team of ASI at Bamiyan in Afghanistan in the year 1977. And he headed the chemical wing of the ASI team of Angkor, Cambodia in 1982. He has, in fact, on the separation of 2 layers of mural at Tanjavur, he has a special conservation and preservation achievements. And in fact, it was the first and the only that the rows of layer of old paintings and are separated, and probably first time anywhere in the world that this particular work was done. Post his superannuation, he has been a consultant on many issues, particularly on chemical conservation of the Simachalam temple in Andhra Pradesh, then chemical conservation of carved marble jains temples in Dilwara, Rajasthan, then in Pandrapur in Maharashtra, the conservation of the idol as well as the carved wooden mantapam there, and conservation of the mural paintings in Chidambaram temple, conservation of the mural paintings in Varadaraja Perumal temple in Kanjipuram, and conservation of mural paintings in Srirangam temple, Tanjavur palace, Ramanat palace and Ramanathapuram. So these are the various things accredited to his achievements, and shortly we will see him speaking as well as giving the details about the book.
ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಅಮೂಲ್ಯವಾದ ತಾಳೆಂಬರಿ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳ ತಾಳೆಗರಿ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮತ್ತು ಡಿಜಿಟೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇದರ ಒಂದು ಬೃಹತ್ ಯೋಜನೆಯನ್ನು ಹಮ್ಮಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದರು. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪಾತ್ರ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವತ್ತು ಸ್ಪರ್ಧಿಸುವ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳು ನನಗೆ ಅನೇಕವಾಗಿ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರುವಾಗ ನಾನು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಅಜಂತ, ಲೇಪಾಕ್ಷಿ ದೇವಾಲಯ, ತಂಜಾವೂರಿನ ಬೃಹದೀಶ್ವರ ದೇವಾಲಯ, ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ನಾಗರಾಜ್ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಅಜಂತ, ಲೇಪಾಕ್ಷಿ ದೇವಾಲಯ, ಬೃಹದೀಶ್ವರದ ತಂಜಾವೂರಿನ ಬೃಹದೀಶ್ವರ ದೇವಾಲಯ, ಬಾಮಿಯಾನ್ನ ಬುದ್ಧ ಪ್ರತಿಮೆಗಳು, ವಿಶ್ವದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಅತಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹಿಂದೂ ದೇವಾಲಯವಾದ ಅಂಕೋರ್ ವಾಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ ಅನುಭವಗಳ ಒಂದು ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕವನ್ನು ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅವರನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅವರು ತಕ್ಷಣ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೂಡ ಇದಿದೆ, ಹೆಸಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ತಕ್ಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ನಾವು ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕದ ತಯಾರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಹಾಯಕರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅವ್ರು ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋದರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ತಗೋತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾನೇ ಬರೀತೀನಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಾನು ಈ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೀಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಬರೀತೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಪ್ರಚುರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ನನಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಉಪಕಾರವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಅಚ್ಚುಕಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕಾವೇರಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟರ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಆಭಾರಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಸಮಾರಂಭನ ಇಷ್ಟು ವಿಜೃಂಭಣೆಯಿಂದ ಏರ್ಪಾಡು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯ ಕೊಡುಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು ರವಿಯವರು ಸ್ವತಃ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರು ಆ ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಸೊ ಈ ಅಪಾರವಾದ ಈ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಗಣ್ಯರಿಗೋ ಮತ್ತು ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಕೆಲವು ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರ ಅನುಕೂಲಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಮಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Tripathi, amidst his busy schedule, has taken the trouble to come all the way from Delhi to grace this occasion. I am very grateful to you, sir. Professor Krishnan has written not only a very perceptive and sympathetic and warm foreword for the book, but he has taken the trouble to come all the way from Kerala and introduce this book in this vivid way in which he has done. I am profoundly grateful to you, sir. And Mr. Dr. Rohit Ishwar, Associate Professor of History, Archaeology and Museology in Maharaj's College. He is my close friend, my very dear friend. He has labored hard to give a shape to this book. My heartfelt thanks are due to him. I served the Archaeological Survey of India for 33.5 years, with an interlude of about 9 years when I was in the Indian Museum, Calcutta, setting up the conservation laboratory and attending to the conservation of a number of antiquities of different types. I came back from there to Archaeological Survey of India in 1975. In USA itself, I got the opportunity to serve in a number of great monuments. It is said that Indian art reached its highest point, its acme, at Ajanta. The pictures relate the stories of they are called the Jataka stories. So the picture related the previous lives of the Buddha when he was still in the Bodhisattva stage, and took various forms of animals, birds, etc., etc., etc. And in every case, his moral superiority, his spiritual superiority was evident. because he was an advanced soul. Paintings depict all sorts of life situations. And then the entire gamut of human emotion. And the technique, maybe is termed as the classical style, marked by immaculate line drawing and a refined color scheme. And then the technique is also superb because the figures are not very flat. The figures have been modeled and have got a three-dimensional effect. And they have introduced even perspective. With the Italian Renaissance painters, they claim that they invented perspective. But we see it here in the 4th century AD. So it was indeed my privilege to have had the opportunity to work at this paintings. I was there from 1955 to 58. In 58, I was transferred to Lepakshi. So the day within the temple at Lepakshi is famous for sculpture as well as beautiful mural paintings. I spoke of Ajanta painting as classical style. Probably the last example of the classical style we see in the Chola paintings of the British temples and temple. The later paintings are all in the so-called folk style. Because the line drawing is not so much disciplined. And the color scheme is also rather gaudy. And the Lepakshi paintings are also in the folk style, in the greater style, folk style. Here, in the interior of the temple on the ceiling, there was a huge figure, 16 feet figure of Veerabhadra, with 5 hands on each side, each hand holding a different weapon, with rich ornamentation on that beautiful figure. But the figure was completely covered with soot because of the continuously burning oil lamp. And then all these are there. So the painting was visible only paint outline. Otherwise the entire ceiling was dark. And my task was to remove this soot layer without affecting the paint layer in any way. And then reveal the real painting. It was indeed a challenging task, which happily I could achieve. In the British temple, Tanjavur, we had a unique problem. As Professor Krishna already said, already related to paint you, 2 layers, numeral painting. The earlier Chola layer in the 11th century, and the Nayak layer in the 16th century was superimposed upon that. Probably because they thought that the damage Chola painting will be because in the intervening 5 centuries, probably the Chola paintings had undergone some sort of damage and some parts must have fallen off also. So the Nayakas thought it was an eyesore. And so, they didn't have, at that time, they didn't have the idea of preserving old things exactly as they are, which we do now. So, they wanted to hide these damaged paintings. And so they replastered the entire area with a clay plaster and painted in their own style. Which happens to be far inferior to the Chola style. Because the Chola style was the classical style and this style. So from the 15th century onward, 2 layers of the paintings were there, one superimposed over the other. And when I went there, earlier, of course, one thing is they had thought that the only way of exposing Chola painting was to chip off the Nayaka layer. But I always felt the Nayaka paintings, though inferior in artistic quality to the Chola paintings, still have their own historical importance. They are 400 years old. They should not be sacrificed. They have to be faced. So I devised a technique of separating the two. Of course, it is a very, very delicate task because the slightest error, it can cause damage to the underlying story. So the separation has to be done with skill, patience, over some time and all that. And we did this, and this work. Of course, it may appear like a boast if you say this, but it was the first time even in the world that 2 layers of old paintings were separated on this scale. But we done earlier on the laboratory table in a small way. On this case, this was the first time. And this work attracted international attention. So the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, they sent a team to film the entire process. They stayed there for 3-4 days. They filmed it, and then they showed it in their TV program called Beyond 2000. Because all this was done in the late 80s. And they showed it in the TV program they had called Beyond 2000. Beyond 2000. It showed the latest advancements in various fields. So it was that. In Bamia, we are ASI. We worked for 9 seasons of 4 months each. Because the other 8 months are too cold to work there. So we used to go there in June and come back in September. So for 9 seasons we worked. And then in the final season of 1977, I had the good fortune to head the team there. Then we completed the treatment of the Buddha, the big Buddha, the so-called small Buddha is 139 feet, and the big Buddha is 183 feet. So in 77 we completed the treatment of the Buddha, the statue itself, and then also we did work on the paintings of the 4th, 5th century AD, contemporaneous with Ajanta, on the walls of the niche around the statue. So all these people were completed, and for the formal handover of the paintings to the Afghan government, our then external minister, Shri S, he had come. I still remember the last sentence, the first sentence of his speech. And after all these years, I still remember, because he is a great orator. He's a great orator. His first sentence of his speech, I still remember. He started by saying, "Bamiyan आकर हमारा अफगानिस्तान का यात्रा तीर्थ यात्रा बन गया." So I heard the news of the destruction of the statues. I happened to be in the United States at the time in my daughter's house. So it was a great shock for me, because for any sensitive person interested in heritage, it will be a shock. But imagine the feelings of someone who was involved in the conservation of the statues, to know that they are all gone. It really is sad thing. As for Angkor Wat is, as I said, is the biggest Hindu temple in the world. It itself is a very such a delicious irony that the biggest Hindu temple is outside India. The first impression, very first impression on seeing Angkor Wat is its size, enormous size. Because in India itself we have seen large temple complexes. For example, the Srilingam temple complex, where 7 prakaras are there, and then the first 3 prakaras, they enclose the town of Srilingam itself. So the temple proper starts from the 4th prakara inwards. So we have seen such large complexes. But even these, in front of Angkor Wat, they look very small. From the east entrance, to the west entrance, if you draw a straight line, the straight line will be 1 mile long. Of course, super sculptures. Of course, in 13th century, Buddhism came there, and then it was the Vishnu temple. It was the Vishnu temple constructed by Subbaraman in the early 11th century AD. And then in the 13th century, Buddhism came there, and so they removed the Vishnu statue and put a Buddha statue there. Otherwise, the sculptures outside are all Hindu. The scenes of the Ramayana, Ramayana, Yuddha, then the Mahabharata, so many other things. And then another favorite theme there is Samudra-Madana. Samudra-Madana, all these are portrayed so vividly. So even for a casual visitor who goes there for a day, even he feels awestruck I'm seeing Angkor. But imagine us staying there for 4 months and studying Angkor in such detail. It was indeed a great book for sure. I have related all these experiences in my book. In addition to my professional experience, I have interspersed it with vignettes from personal life and some anecdotes, etc., etc., so that it should be a composite, conservative story instead of simply a catalog of conservation projects. Padmashri Award. In the evening, after all this award function, all that excitement was over. In the evening, I thought, oh, what a great day. Oh, what a day we got there. And my thoughts automatically they went to the essay. It made all this possible. And my heart was filled with gratitude. The essay. So, after retirement also, somehow or other, I was not in a mood to sit at home and then have a relaxed, retired life and all that. So I was able to do more. So then I joined the INTAC, Chitragala Prashad here. The INTAC started conservation laboratory, art conservation laboratory. And Dr. Agarwal, who was the chief, he invited me to be his head. So I was there for 12 years. And we conserved and restored a large number of art objects of various types, oil paintings, traditional paintings, statues, vessels, wood bronzes, whatnot, so many other things. And I also had the opportunity to work with some very young, bright people there. All these I have written about in my book. So, finally, my word, last word is, with regard to the place names and all that there, different places have different spellings. For example, the local area, Ajanta is called Ajanta. So many places. I have used standardized pronunciation, standardized spelling, etc., etc. In Sanskrit, there is a beautiful word for people whom we hold in high regard. It's called Pradasmaraniya. Means people who should be the first ones you will remember in the morning. So, I want to utilize this occasion to remember some people whom I hold in really high regard. The first one was my school teacher, Mrs. Kashi Vishwanathan, who was a science teacher, but he taught me English in such a wonderful way that I inculcated love for English literature. Secondly, the Dr. Parameshwar, who was a pioneer in the scientific examination of the old paintings. It was he who recruited me to USA. I remember with great regard Dr. Devala Mitra, the great scholar of Buddhist studies, etc., who was the director for some time, who encouraged me a lot. And I also fondly remember Mr. A.K. Bhattacharya, who was the director of the Indian Museum, who was a great support to me, full support to me at a very turbulent circumstances there, because of trade unionism and all that. The whole atmosphere had become very appreciated and all that. With all that, he always supported me. And even at that time of my leaving there, he told me, higher post is shortly expected here. Still, do you want to go? I said, sir, please relieve me. Because the atmosphere has become very bad. So he relieved me, and then I had to also come back. I remember him. And I remember Dr. O.P. Agarwal, who employed me as director of the INTAC Chitragala Prashad Art Conservation Center, gave me an opportunity to be active and to do interesting work at an age when most people spend their time only in seeing the newspaper and then complaining about the knee pain and back pain and other with their friends. So I remember school with great affection. Only. So lastly, in my book, my experiences can inspire some younger people to take this profession. I think writing will be one thing. Thank you very much.
ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬಿಂದು ಅವರದೇ ಆದಂಥ ಆತ್ಮಚರಿತ್ರೆಯನ್ನು ಬರೆದಂಥ ಸುಬ್ಬರಾಮನ್ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಈ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೈಸೂರಿಂದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸಂತೋಷದ ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅನಂತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ನಾನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಮೈಸೂರು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ರಾಜಧಾನಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಕೂಡ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಪದ್ಮಶ್ರೀ, ಪದ್ಮಭೂಷಣ ಈ ಥರ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಮೈಸೂರಿಗೇನೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೇ ಸುಬ್ಬರಾಮನ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಬಂತು. ಅನೇಕ ಪ್ರಾತಸ್ಮರಣೀಯ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವರನ್ನ ಜ್ಞಾಪಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕವಿ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಇದ್ದರು, ಪದ್ಮಶ್ರೀ ರಾ ಸತ್ಯನಾರಾಯಣ ಇದ್ದರು, ವೀಣೆ ಶೇಷಣ್ಣವರಿದ್ದರು, ಬಿಡಾರು ಕೃಷ್ಣಪ್ಪನವರಿದ್ದರು, ಸಂಗೀತದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಸರು ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ವಾಸುದೇವರಾಯರಿದ್ದರು, ಪಂಡಿತ ಆರ್ ಶ್ರಮಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಿಗಳಿದ್ದರು, ಸರ್ ಎಂ ವಿಶ್ವೇಶ್ವರಯ್ಯನವರಿದ್ದರು. ಮತ್ತು ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ತಿಲಕಪ್ರಾಯವಾಗಿ ಮೈಸೂರನ್ನ ಆಳದಂಥ ಮಹಾರಾಜರನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೆನೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಬೇಕು. ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಆಧುನಿಕ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ ನಿರ್ಮಾತೃ ನಾಲ್ವಡಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣರಾಜ ಒಡೆಯರ್, ಮತ್ತು ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ವಿದ್ವತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಸಿದ್ಧರಾದಂಥ ಜಯಚಾಮರಾಜ ಒಡೆಯರ್, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾತಸ್ಮರಣೀಯ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು. ಆ ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿದವರೇ ಸುಬ್ಬರಾಮನ್ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಮಿಥಿಕ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಯ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಅನಂತ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸ್ತೇನೆ.